The night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station was usually quiet. Most operators spent their time watching endless streams of data, looking for anything unusual among the stars. Tonight was different. Tom Parker sat up straight in his chair as his console began flashing red. The signal was unlike anything he had seen before. Strong, clear, and definitely not natural. He rubbed his tired eyes and checked the readings again. "Hey, Director Wells, you need to see this," Tom called out, his voice echoing through the quiet control room. Director Wells walked over, coffee cup in hand. She was an older woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that had spent decades watching the stars. "What have you got?" "Signal from the Kuiper Belt. It's not random, and it's not one of ours." Tom pointed to the pattern on his screen. The signal pulsed in a clear mathematical sequence, prime numbers, repeating over and over. Wells set down her coffee and leaned closer. "Send it to the main screen." The large display lit up, showing a three-dimensional map of the solar system. A red dot blinked near the orbit of Pluto, far beyond where any human spacecraft had ventured. "There's more," Tom said, fingers flying over his keyboard. The computer just finished the first translation. "It's a distress signal." The room grew silent as more operators gathered around. The message was simple but clear. 300 ships stranded in space, their main drives dead. They were carrying 50,000 passengers, fleeing from their dying home system. Director Wells didn't hesitate. She picked up the red phone, the one that connected directly to the International Space Council. "This is Director Wells at Deep Space Monitoring. We have a code first contact. I repeat, code first contact, and they need our help." Within hours, the news spread across Earth. Emergency meetings were called. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders gathered in conference rooms around the world. The aliens had sent more detailed messages, explaining their situation. Their ships used something called quantum drives, technology far more advanced than anything humans had developed. But these sophisticated engines had failed catastrophically, leaving their entire fleet stranded at the edge of Earth's solar system. "The irony," muttered Dr. Brown, Earth's leading physicist, as he studied the alien technical data. "Their ships are so advanced that when they break down, they can't even fix them with their own tools. It's like having a quantum computer, but not knowing how to use a screwdriver." The aliens' message was becoming desperate. Their life support systems would only last 3 months. Without help, 50,000 lives would be lost in the cold void of space. The United Nations called an emergency session. On screens around the world, the Secretary General addressed humanity. "Today, we face a unique moment in human history. An advanced civilization has asked for our help. Despite their technological superiority, they need us. Humanity will not stand idle while lives are at risk, no matter what world they come from." Commander James Miller stood in front of the hastily assembled rescue mission crew. They had just 72 hours to prepare for launch. Their ships weren't pretty, old-style chemical rockets, rugged and reliable. The kind of technology aliens might consider primitive. "I know what you're thinking," Miller addressed his crew. "Their ships can bend space, and we're still using rockets that would look at home in the 20th century. But right now, that's our advantage. Sometimes the simple solutions are the best ones." As the rescue ships prepared for launch, Earth's top engineers were already working on plans. The aliens' sophisticated technology might have paralyzed them, but human ingenuity had always thrived on solving impossible problems. Looking at the massive rockets on the launch pad, Commander Miller smiled. Humanity was about to show the galaxy what they could do. Sometimes, being less advanced meant being more capable. Their primitive technology might just save an alien civilization. The countdown began. Humanity's first rescue mission to save an alien fleet was about to begin. The stars were waiting, and 50,000 lives hung in the balance. It was time to show the galaxy what humans could do. 3 weeks after launch, the human rescue fleet approached the stranded alien ships. The sight took everyone's breath away. The alien vessels were beautiful, sleek silver shapes that seemed to glow against the darkness of space. Each one was massive, easily 10 times the size of Earth's largest spacecraft. Commander Miller stood on the bridge of his ship, the Horizon, watching the main screen. All ships, maintain formation. Remember your training. Let's show them humanity's best. The alien ships dwarfed the human rescue fleet. Where the alien vessels were smooth and elegant, the human ships were blocky and practical, covered in antennas, solar panels, and external storage tanks. The first transmission came through clear and strong. The alien leader's image appeared on the main screen. Admiral Kell looked almost human-like, except for his silvery skin and large dark eyes. His expression showed both hope and confusion. "We are surprised," Admiral Kell said in carefully translated English. "Your vessels use chemical propulsion. How did you cross such distance with such basic technology?" Miller smiled. "Sometimes the old ways work best. Our ships might be simple, but they're reliable. May we dock with your command vessel?" The docking procedure took 2 hours. The human engineers had to design an adapter to connect their primitive airlock with the aliens' more advanced system. When the doors finally opened, humans and aliens met face to face for the first time. The alien crew wore elegant uniforms that seemed to flow like liquid metal. They watched with puzzled expressions as the human engineers entered their ship carrying basic toolkits and diagnostic equipment. "These are manual tools," one alien engineer asked, pointing at a wrench. "Sometimes the simplest solution is the best solution," replied Chief Engineer Pete Wilson, patting his toolbox. "Now show us your engine room." The alien engine room was a marvel of technology. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing complex quantum calculations. But to the human engineer's surprise, there wasn't a single backup system in sight. "What happens if your main computer fails?" Pete asked. Admiral Kell looked confused. "Fail? Our quantum systems are perfect. They cannot fail." "But they did fail," Miller pointed out gently. "That's why we're here." The aliens led them to their quantum drive core. It was beautiful, a sphere of swirling energy suspended in a magnetic field, but it was completely dead. The aliens had no way to even begin repairs because all their tools required the same quantum technology that had failed. Pete walked around the drive, looking at it with experienced eyes. He pulled out an old-fashioned magnetic scanner from his toolkit. The aliens watched in amazement as he used simple instruments to analyze their advanced technology. "Well, I got good news and bad news," Pete said after an hour. "The good news is we can probably get you moving again. The bad news is you won't be using your quantum drives. We'll have to do this the human way." Admiral Kell and his crew exchanged worried looks. The human way. Miller stepped forward. "We've brought materials to construct basic fusion drives. They're not as fast as your quantum drives, but they'll work. We can adapt them to your ships." "But that is going backward," one alien engineer protested. "Your technology is centuries behind ours." "Sometimes," Miller said with a smile, "you need to take a step back to move forward. Your ships are incredible, but right now they're just beautiful sculptures. We can make them work again, just not in the way you're used to." The aliens huddled together, discussing in their own language. Finally, Admiral Kell turned to Miller. "We accept your help. Please, teach us your human way." As the human engineers began unpacking their equipment, Pete noticed something interesting. The alien crew watched with growing fascination as they used simple tools to measure, mark, and plan their work. Some even asked to hold the tools themselves, turning them over in their hands with wonder. "You know what?" Pete said to Miller quietly. "I think we're going to teach them more than just how to fix their ships." Miller nodded. The real work was about to begin, and with it, a chance to show the galaxy that humanity's primitive ways still had value in an advanced universe. The next few days were a blur of activity. Human engineers spread across the alien fleet, examining the dead quantum drives. In the command ship's main conference room, Pete Wilson stood before a holographic display, showing his findings to both human and alien leaders. "The problem is bigger than we thought," Pete said, pointing to the complex diagrams floating in the air. "These quantum drives don't just need repairs. They need exotic matter to function, stuff we can't create with our current technology." Admiral Kell's silver face showed concern. "Without the drives, we are stranded. Our life support systems have enough power for only 82 days now." The room fell silent. 50,000 lives. 82 days. The numbers hung heavy in the air. Then Lisa Martinez, one of Earth's best rocket engineers, stood up. She had been quiet until now, studying the alien ship designs on her tablet computer. "What if we didn't try to fix the quantum drives at all?" Everyone turned to look at her. The aliens seemed confused, but Commander Miller leaned forward, interested. "Go on, Lisa." She walked to the holographic display and pulled up the schematics of the alien ships. "These vessels are beautiful, but they're built around the quantum drives. However, look here and here." She pointed to large empty spaces in the ship designs. "These areas were meant for cargo. We could use that space." "Use it for what?" an alien engineer asked. Lisa smiled. "To build new engines, not quantum drives, something much simpler. We could install modified fusion drives, like the ones we use on our long-range ships. They're not as fast as quantum technology, but they're reliable. More importantly, we can build them with materials we have." The alien engineers looked shocked. One of them stood up, his silver skin slightly darker with emotion. "You want to put primitive fusion drives in our advanced ships? That's like putting a steam engine in a starship. Better a working steam engine than a dead quantum drive," Pete replied calmly. "Lisa's right. We can do this. The cargo spaces are perfect for fusion reactors." Commander Miller studied the plans. "How long would it take?" Lisa did some quick calculations on her tablet. "With help from the alien crew, maybe 2 months. We'll need to teach them basic engineering principles first. How to weld, how to wire simple circuits, how to build mechanical systems." 2 months, Admiral Kell repeated. "And our life support has 82 days. He turned to his engineers. "We have no choice. We must learn these primitive methods." The work began immediately. The Horizon's cargo bay was turned into a classroom. Human engineers taught alien crews how to use hand tools, read simple circuit diagrams, and understand basic physics principles their advanced society had forgotten centuries ago. At first, the aliens were frustrated. Their hands, used to controlling everything through computer interfaces, struggled with physical tools. But slowly they began to understand. There was satisfaction in fixing something with your own hands, in understanding how things worked at a basic level. One young alien engineer, after successfully welding his first metal seam, looked at his work with pride. "I never knew you could join metals without molecular bonding computers. This is fascinating." Lisa watched the progress from the command center. Teams of humans and aliens were working together across the fleet, preparing the cargo spaces for the new engines. The aliens were learning fast, their natural intelligence now focused on mastering these basic skills. "You know what's interesting?" she said to Pete one day. "Their quantum technology is amazing, but they lost something important along the way. They forgot the basics. Sometimes you need to understand the foundation before you can build something that reaches the stars." Pete nodded, watching through a viewport as human and alien crews worked together on a massive fusion core. Maybe that's humanity's gift to the galaxy. We're still young enough to remember the basics, but smart enough to use them in new ways. Commander Miller received daily reports of the progress. The fusion drives were taking shape, a blend of human ingenuity and alien materials. It wasn't pretty, but it would work. Sometimes that was the most human solution of all. Earth had never seen anything like it. In every major shipyard and space facility around the world, people worked around the clock building fusion drive components. The mission to save the alien fleet had a name now: Operation Bootstrap. It's like teaching someone to build a bicycle when they've forgotten how to walk, Pete said, watching the main screen in the Horizon's control room. The display showed dozens of cargo ships launching from Earth, carrying parts and supplies for the massive engineering project. The alien ships had become busy construction sites. Human engineers worked alongside alien crews, turning huge cargo bays into engine rooms. The sound of welding and mechanical work echoed through the once silent alien vessels. In what used to be the alien flagship's grand meeting hall, Lisa had set up a basic engineering school. She stood in front of a group of alien engineers, using simple diagrams to explain fusion technology. "Think of it like this," she said, drawing on a traditional whiteboard. "A fusion drive is like a tiny star in a bottle. We're not bending space like your quantum drives. We're just pushing really hard in one direction." An alien student raised his hand. "But the efficiency is so low compared to quantum drives. Only 3% of light speed." Lisa smiled. 3% of light speed is better than 0% of light speed. Sometimes good enough is better than perfect. Meanwhile, Commander Miller coordinated with Earth. The operation had become a global effort. Russian shipyards built engine cores. Japanese factories made control systems. European labs provided fuel processing units, and American facilities produced radiation shielding. "The first complete drive assembly is ready for testing," Pete reported one morning. Everyone gathered in the test chamber, a sealed section of the alien ship's cargo hold. The new fusion drive looked strange against the alien technology, like an old steam engine in a modern sports car. "Beginning power-up sequence," Lisa announced. The drive hummed to life, its core glowing with the same energy that powered the stars. Readings appeared on both human and alien displays. The alien engineers watched in amazement as the primitive drive powered up perfectly. Even Admiral Kell seemed impressed. Such a simple design, yet so robust. There are no quantum uncertainties to manage, no probability fields to maintain. The test was a success. The first fusion drive worked exactly as planned, producing enough thrust to move even the largest alien ships. But they needed hundreds more, and time was running out. Earth's response continued to amaze the aliens when they learned that certain materials were running short. 3 different countries opened their strategic reserves. Universities around the world suspended regular classes, turning their engineering departments into 24-hour manufacturing centers. "Why do they help us so much?" Admiral Kell asked Miller one day, watching Earth's cargo ships arrive with more supplies. "We are strangers to them." Miller thought for a moment. "Because that's what humans do. We see someone in trouble, we help. Simple as that." The alien leader stared at the Earth ships. "Our civilization became so advanced, we forgot such simple truths. Perhaps we have much to learn from Earth." As days passed, more fusion drives were completed and installed. The alien crews, now comfortable with basic tools, worked alongside humans to install the engines. They began to take pride in understanding how things worked at a fundamental level. One young alien engineer showed Lisa a modification he'd made to a cooling system. "See, no quantum computers needed, just basic thermodynamics and some clever pipe work." Lisa grinned. "Now you're thinking like a human engineer." The project was ahead of schedule. 40 days into the operation, nearly half the fleet had working fusion drives. The aliens had not just learned to accept human technology, they had embraced it, finding ways to combine their advanced materials with basic engineering principles. Commander Miller wrote in his log that night, "Operation Bootstrap isn't just about saving an alien fleet anymore. It's about teaching an advanced civilization that sometimes the old ways are worth remembering. And maybe, just maybe, humanity has found its place in the galaxy, not as the most advanced species, but as the ones who remember how to fix things." The warning alarms started on the outer ships first. Red lights flashed through alien corridors as life support systems began to fail faster than predicted. The original estimate of 82 days had been wrong. "We have a serious problem," Admiral Kell announced to the emergency meeting. "The quantum field collapse is spreading. Life support systems are failing across the fleet. We now have less than 20 days, not 40 as we thought." Commander Miller looked at the status display. Over 100 ships still needed fusion drives. "How many people are on the ships with failing life support?" 12,000, Admiral Kell replied quietly. The room fell silent. Lisa stood up from her chair. "Then we work faster. Pete, remember that emergency protocol we developed for the Mars crisis?" Pete nodded, already understanding. "The quick weld method. It's not pretty, but it works." "It doesn't need to be pretty," Miller said. "It just needs to keep people alive." New orders went out across the fleet. The human engineers began teaching the aliens emergency repair techniques, quick fixes and temporary solutions that could buy them precious time. In the damaged ships, alien families huddled in central areas as outer sections lost power. Human emergency teams moved through the fleet, teaching alien crews how to patch failing systems with basic tools. "Look," a human engineer showed an alien crew. "You can bypass the quantum circuits completely. Run these basic power lines directly to the life support units. It's not elegant, but it will work for now." The aliens learned quickly. Their centuries of relying on automated systems had left them helpless when those systems failed, but now they were learning to improvise. They began to understand why humans still kept outdated knowledge and skills. In one ship, an alien child watched as his father helped human engineers install emergency power systems. "Why don't the repair robots fix it?" the child asked. "Because sometimes," his father replied, holding a simple wrench, "you need to fix things yourself." The pace was frantic. Human cargo ships arrived constantly, bringing more emergency supplies. The aliens had stripped their beautiful ships of decorative panels, using the materials to patch failing systems. Their once elegant vessels now looked like patchwork quilts of repairs and emergency fixes. Lisa worked for 30 hours straight, moving from ship to ship, teaching alien engineers the basics of emergency repairs. She finally rested when she nearly passed out from exhaustion. "You must rest," Admiral Kell told her. "We cannot lose our teachers now." "There's no time," she argued, but Miller stepped in. "The aliens are learning," he said firmly. "Look." On the main screen, they could see alien crews working independently, making repairs without human supervision. They had learned in days what might normally take months to teach, driven by desperate necessity. A breakthrough came when an alien engineer discovered he could convert their decorative light panels into emergency power sources. "The quantum crystalline structure," he explained excitedly, "can be reversed to generate simple electrical current." The discovery spread through the fleet. Aliens stripped their ships of every quantum crystal, using human techniques to convert them into basic power generators. It wasn't elegant, but it worked. Day by day, hour by hour, they raced against time. Ships that had their fusion drives installed began moving to help others. The fleet became a community, aliens and humans working together, sharing resources and knowledge. On day 18, with time running desperately short, the last emergency repairs were completed. The final fusion drive was installed just hours before the life support systems would have failed completely. Admiral Kell stood in the fleet's main control room, looking at the status display. Every ship now showed green. Basic systems functioning. People safe. The elegant quantum technology was gone, replaced by human engineering. But his people were alive. "We did it," Pete said quietly, looking at the same display. "It's not pretty, but it works," Admiral Kell finished. "We are learning that not pretty but it works is sometimes the best solution of all." Miller smiled, watching human and alien crews celebrating together across the fleet. They had done more than just save lives. They had taught an advanced civilization the value of simple solutions and basic skills. Sometimes, going backward was the best way to move forward. With the immediate crisis over, both humans and aliens had time to reflect on what they had learned from each other. The fleet was moving again, slowly making its way toward the inner solar system using their new fusion drives. In the main engineering bay of the alien flagship, Pete watched as an alien engineer named Tell took apart a broken air recycler. Instead of replacing the whole unit as they would have done before, Tell was fixing it with basic tools. "See this part?" Tell said, holding up a small pump. "Before, we would have seen it as one quantum-sealed unit. Now I can see how each piece works together. It's beautiful in its simplicity." The aliens had started keeping maintenance logs, paper notebooks filled with hand-drawn diagrams and repair notes. It was something they had never done before, having always relied on their quantum computers to record everything. Lisa found Admiral Kell in the observation deck, watching Earth's ships move among his fleet. The alien ships looked different now. Their once smooth hulls marked with repair patches and external power lines. But they were working better than ever. "Your people have changed," Lisa said, joining him at the window. "Yes," Kell agreed. "We lost something over the centuries as our technology advanced. We forgot the joy of understanding how things work, of fixing things with our own hands." Throughout the fleet, similar changes were happening. Alien children gathered around human engineers, asking endless questions about how things worked. They drew pictures of fusion drives and simple machines, their natural curiosity awakened. Commander Miller received an unexpected request from the Alien Council. They wanted to set up a permanent engineering school, teaching both quantum technology and basic human engineering principles. "We have realized," the Council's message said, "that true advancement comes not from abandoning the old ways, but from understanding all levels of technology. The human approach to problem-solving is unique and valuable." The aliens began sharing their own knowledge as well. They showed humans how their quantum mathematics could improve fusion drive efficiency. It was a perfect blend of advanced theory and practical engineering. In one ship's cargo bay, now converted to a classroom, an alien teacher drew diagrams of both quantum drives and fusion engines. "Both have their place," he told his mixed class of humans and aliens. "One is not better than the other. True wisdom is knowing when to use each." Pete found himself learning as much as he taught. The aliens' understanding of material science was far beyond Earth's, and they began applying this knowledge to improve the primitive repairs they had learned. "Look at this," an alien engineer showed him. "We can use our quantum-forged metals to make your simple machines last 10 times longer. The old designs with new materials, perfect harmony." The fleet's medical bay had also changed. Alien doctors, who had always relied on automated diagnosis machines, now learned human methods of observation and hands-on examination. They discovered that combining both approaches led to better health care. One evening, Miller found Lisa in the engineering school, surrounded by alien students. They were taking apart an old Earth computer, learning how it worked at the most basic level. "I never expected this," Lisa said later. "We came to rescue them, but we'd given them something more valuable than just survival." "We gave them back their curiosity," Miller agreed. "Sometimes you need to understand the foundation before you can appreciate the advanced stuff." Admiral Kell called a fleet-wide meeting. The images of 50,000 aliens appeared on screens throughout the ships. "We have learned much from our human friends," he announced. "Our civilization grew so focused on advancing that we forgot to maintain our basic knowledge. The humans have taught us that true progress means keeping all useful knowledge, both old and new." The fleet continued its slow journey toward the inner solar system. Earth's ships stayed with them, but now it was more about friendship than necessity. Humans and aliens worked together, each learning from the other, finding a balance between high technology and basic engineering. As Miller wrote in his final report, "We didn't just save an alien fleet. We helped an advanced civilization rediscover something they had lost: the human touch in technology." Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful of all. 3 months after the crisis began, the alien fleet arrived safely in orbit around Jupiter. Earth's massive gas giant would serve as their temporary home while they rebuilt and planned their future. The sight was extraordinary. Hundreds of alien ships, their hulls bearing the marks of human engineering, against Jupiter's swirling storms. "It's not where we expected to end up," Admiral Kell said, standing with Commander Miller in the flagship's observation deck. "But perhaps it's where we needed to be." The fleet had changed during its journey. What started as a desperate rescue mission had turned into something more important. Each alien ship now had a mix of their advanced technology and human engineering. They called it the hybrid approach, combining the best of both worlds. News had spread across the galaxy. Other alien civilizations sent observers to study what had happened. They were surprised to find that the supposedly primitive humans had not only saved an advanced fleet, but had taught them a better way of maintaining their technology. "Tell me again," a diplomat from a distant star system asked Lisa, "how did you think to combine basic fusion drives with quantum materials?" Lisa smiled. "Sometimes the best solutions are the simple ones. We just needed to remember how things worked at a basic level." Earth had changed too. The alien fleet shared their knowledge freely. Universities around the world began teaching both quantum physics and basic engineering. Understanding the foundations is as important as pushing the boundaries became a common saying in engineering schools. Pete found himself teaching a class of mixed human and alien students. They were building a small fusion reactor using both human designs and alien materials. The aliens no longer looked down on primitive technology. Instead, they saw how understanding basic principles made their advanced technology work better. "Look at this," one of his alien students said, showing a design that used quantum crystals to improve a simple mechanical joint. "By understanding both old and new, we can create something better than either alone." The Alien Council made a historic decision. Instead of continuing their journey to find a new home, they asked Earth for permission to establish a permanent base on Jupiter's moon Europa. They would build a center of learning there, where humans and aliens could study together. "Our people were refugees," Admiral Kell announced to the United Nations. "We thought we had lost everything. Instead, we found something more valuable. A new way of thinking about technology and progress." Commander Miller attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Europa Academy of Engineering. Human and alien construction teams worked together, building facilities that would teach everything from basic mechanics to quantum physics. "See that?" Miller pointed out to Lisa, watching an alien child showing the human child how to use both a wrench and a quantum scanner. "That's the real victory here." The story of the stranded fleet became famous across the galaxy. Other advanced civilizations began sending their engineers to Earth to learn the human approach to technology. They discovered that Earth's seemingly primitive methods often provided solutions that their advanced technology had overlooked. 1 year after the rescue, the alien fleet held a celebration. Their ships had been fully upgraded with new hybrid systems, quantum technology backed up by human engineering. They were safer and more reliable than ever before. Admiral Kell gave a speech that was broadcast across Earth and to civilizations throughout the galaxy. "We thought we were advanced because we have forgotten our technological roots. The humans showed us that true advancement means building upon your foundations, not abandoning them. This is humanity's gift to the stars." As the celebration ended, Miller found himself back in the observation deck with Lisa and Pete. Jupiter's great red spot swirled below them, while the lights of the Europa Academy shone on the moon's icy surface. "You know what's funny?" Pete said. "We thought we were just going to rescue some stranded ships." Lisa nodded. "Instead, we helped bridge the gap between old and new technology. Not bad for some primitive humans." Miller smiled, watching as another group of alien ships arrived, their crews eager to learn at the Academy. Sometimes the greatest discoveries come from remembering what others have forgotten. That's humanity's real strength, We remember where we came from, even as we reach for the stars.